What is going on, YouTube people? We got a fun one for you today. Sorry, the desk is a little messy. I haven't cleaned up from the ComC video yet, and I was listening to some stuff on eBay, and I need to get this one recorded quick. We have a rather large wave of thunderstorm / tornado warnings heading my way this evening. So just in case I lose power, I wanted to get this one out. Today, we have, if you remember, I sent a Bobby Witt silver pack PSA 10 refractor back to PSA because it had a massive crease on the back of it. And frankly, I didn't remember that crease being there. I feel like it's something I would have seen. So I followed the proper protocol. I filled out the form, sent the card back. It took about, I don't remember when I sent that in exactly. It probably took about maybe 3 weeks total, door to door, maybe a month. And the results are in, but I will let you, I'm fascinated to see what you all think about this. And let's just start here. So here's the card. I have it back in my hands. It's the PSA 4. And as you can very easily see, there is a huge crease right there. Massive crease right across the bottom there. Now, could I have missed that? Sure. I usually look my cards over pretty good. I missed some small stuff. That's pretty big for me to miss, but is what it is. I went back and looked at the video where I pulled it, or not where I pulled it. I didn't have a video when I pulled this. I ripped this off camera. I had a video of when I showed the PSA submission, but I don't show the back of the card. You could see it when it's laying here like this, like when I flip it over to look at the next card, but you really can't see it. So I said, I don't think I missed that, but you don't have access to the pre-scan images after the card's been graded. So I sent, in the email, I put, hey, I don't remember seeing this crease on there. Would you mind double checking the pre-scan images on this? And let me know what you guys think. So got a nice email back from them about 2 weeks after I sent it off. Hey there. Basically, we don't see the crease on the pre-scan images. I said, okay. And you can request a copy of the pre-scan images. So I have that now, and I'll show you that, guys, or I'll show you that to you guys here in a minute. And I said, I'm not seeing the same thing. Would you mind double checking? Have someone else take a look at it, supervisor, whatever. Very, very, very nice in the email. And they said, sure, no problem. Give us another day. And another day went by, and they emailed me back, and they're like, yep, they saw it too. So, we could send the card back to you raw. We could send it back to you authentic. We could send it back to you as a PSA 4. What would you like? I said, keep it as a PSA 4. Now, I'll pull the images up here in a second. I will let you all decide. It's about a $100 card. It is not the biggest deal in the world. I'm not going to sit here and throw a temper tantrum. To this day, I still don't see it on the pre-scan images. I'll be curious to get your all's opinion on it. But at this point, I guess it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not going to throw a hissy fit about it. I'm going to switch us over to the desktop here. Now, I want to do asterisk this because this is technically true. The scan image of the card in the PSA slab that you're going to see, those are high-res scans. The pre-scan images are not. It's just a scan. It's not a high-res scan, so you don't get the same fidelity on it. With this whole situation in particular, it's not necessarily about the value of the card because the card's not that expensive. It scares me more if something like this would happen with a high dollar card. So let me switch this over to the desktop here, and you boys and girls can take a look. All right, so we'll start over here on the left. This is the pre-scan image. I'm sorry, not the pre-scan image. This is the PSA 10 slabbed image. So you could clearly see, even if I don't zoom in, you could clearly see the crease going through the Topps logo, through the TX in Texas, and then down here through the lettering and across. I'll zoom in a little bit. You guys can see it much better. So you can see all the lettering's kind of jacked up through the city there, through the TX in Texas, down below there, and then through the Topps logo, and you can see those ways. Very clean cut, plain as day. There it is. But obviously it should be. That's the PSA slab scan. Here is the pre-scanned image. Now, as I zoom in, this is going to get a little bit worse. But right off the get, I mean, I get that it's a lower image res, but I feel like this here, like from the TX through the Topps logo to the bottom of the card, I feel like that would show up there. Am I crazy? And that, in through the lettering, I could see it being a little trickier to tell because the crease isn't as creased there, if that makes sense. But through here and through here on this, and I'm going to zoom in here, but like I said, it is going to get a little grainy the more you go in because it is not a high-res image. But I just feel like that would show up even on a low scan image, especially this part right here. It breaks color almost, I guess if it's laying flat, perfect, maybe you wouldn't, because that is the one thing. On the slabbed version, it's raised up slightly because it's in the case, whereas this is directly on the scanner. The other part that really stood out to me was this part right here. This specific line from the X to the T through the comma and then underneath the city. Like, I'm just not seeing it, even if you zoom out a little bit. And zoom out on this one. I don't know. You boys and girls be the judge. What do you think on this? Was it damaged? Did I send it in this way? Or is PSA giving me the runaround a little bit? Like I said, personally, I just don't see it. I do not see it. So, like I said, luckily, it's not a high value card. That's really not the point. As someone that works my day job is account management, essentially. I am in the field customer service rep for the company that I work for. So I deal with not stuff directly like this, but customer issues where it's, hey, X, Y, or Z thing happened. Can you look into this for me? And I just know if I flip the script and I don't, it's not the customer, it's not the customer service rep's fault. They're just following whatever policy and procedure is laid out in front of them. Like I said, they were perfectly nice and kind. But I just feel like in a situation like this, with a potentially damaged card, and I don't want to like I said, I don't want to mix the value in here. It doesn't matter if this is a $10 card or a $5,000 card or a $100,000 card. I just feel like if it's not clear cut, and listen, you could say maybe you see something in here. Sure. Okay. If you do, more power to you. You got better eyes than I do. And I'm looking at it on a 30-inch monitor. But if it's even remotely questionable, where, you know what, I could see how the customer couldn't see this. Like, why would you give a bad customer experience over this? Like, it is not clear cut if it's there. 100% it is not clear cut. In my mind, I'm at least going back and saying, hey, you know what? We don't see it. We don't see it on the scan. I understand you don't, or whatever. We're not going to comp you the full value of the card, but we'll meet you halfway or something. In my opinion, it's not there. I firmly am in the camp that when I sent the card in, that crease was not on there for a couple of different reasons. One, I just feel like I would see that. Now that's, every keyboard warrior in a Facebook group says, "Oh, I wasn't there when I sent it in," and now I sound like those people. But it is what it is, I guess. But seeing these images, I, I don't know. I don't see it. I don't. I do not see that crease on that card. If you do, please let me know. Please let me know. If someone wants the images, I'll DM me on Instagram. I'll probably screenshot something here and share it on Twitter, Instagram, or something. But it just you're kind of, I don't want to say you're screwed when something like this happens, but you're kind of screwed when something like this happens. You really don't. I mean, they made their determination. That's kind of it. Whether you agree with it or not, like I air quote appealed it. I didn't throw a hissy fit or anything like that. I could have asked like, this is absolutely ridiculous, blah blah blah, and thrown a big temper tantrum. But that's not my style. So, you be the judge. Curious for your thoughts and comments down below on this one. The comment section loves to say us influencers get special treatment, and I'm in PSA's pocket and the biggest PSA fanboy and all this nonsense and a spokesperson for them. Exhibit A on why that is not the case at all. So if this could happen to me, it could happen to anybody. And I did that whole video on, downloading the pre-screen images and stuff like that. And even if I would have had this pre-screen image, if they say they see it, I guess you're SOL. Maybe if I would have had the video of, the pre-submission video before I bundled it up, but that's no perfect thing, because they could just say that it got damaged prior to it getting in the box or shipping or who knows what. They could basically just say whatever they want to. So very disappointed in not necessarily the process, like the way that it all worked, sending it in and the communication and all that stuff was good. Just their culture around taking care of the customer and making things right. In a case like this where it is not 100% dead on clear cut what went on here, the card was submitted damage. It's not like you could see, even if you could see a little part of the crease on there, it would be an entirely different thing. But I guess they know they got us. Because, listen, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Next time I have a pile of cards to send in, I'm probably still sending them their way. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm not. Luckily, I've sent a lot of cards to PSAs over the years. This is the only issue that I've ever had. I have never had an issue prior to this with any of my submissions. I don't know how many cards I've sent in over the years. Probably at least a few hundred, if not maybe 1,000 cards since pre-pandemic. And I have never had an issue like this pop up. So I guess just be careful out there. That's all I got for you boys and girls today. Very curious for your thoughts and comments down below on this one. Am I crazy? Is PSA crazy? What do you think should have happened here? How should this have played out? Also, is anyone interested in a PSA for Bobby Witt? Catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.